Welcome back to the Too Fast Tactical channel. In today's unboxing and quick tabletop review, we're going to be looking at a radio upgrade for a 2008 Volkswagen EOS VR6. This particular model is listed as the RCD360 Pro, but in reality it's probably just an RCD330. The RCD330 is a factory Volkswagen radio that is OEM on Chinese and European vehicles. It's a very cost-effective upgrade for US spec automobiles, mainly because not only is it direct, more or less a direct plug-and-play for Volkswagen Mark 5s and Mark 6s. It gives you the capabilities of using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. It also has a front panel USB and a compact flash slot. So it's not a micro SD, it's full-size SD card, not compact flash, a full-size SD card. That's a little bit outdated nowadays if you're buying micro SD cards, but you get an adapter and use your micro SD card with a full-size SD card. That's what I plan on doing. So it's a budget solution. Now this particular one, this RCD360 Pro, this is a no-name model, and that's important, so keep that in mind. I'll talk about it later. Its part number is 6RD035187B. That's also an important number if you're looking at buying one of these yourself. I got this off of AliExpress. It's cheaper to go that route than to go via Amazon or eBay, but those are also alternatives. But you've got to read the descriptions very carefully, because some of these radios don't have Android Auto and only have CarPlay, Apple CarPlay. Some only have Android Auto and they don't have Apple CarPlay. Some don't have either. So the really inexpensive ones don't have either. You also, ideally, you would want to go with a no-name one. A no-name one means there's no manufacturer's name on the label. The other alternative is you get a name brand one, with I think Delsay is one of those options. Now those work just fine. The downside to like the Delsay is you cannot flash the firmware. You cannot upgrade the software on those. So the no-name one, you can keep current with the different firmware, the different software upgrades. You can flash those. So the no-name is what you ideally want. So anyway, this came off of AliExpress. My cost on this was $150 plus 35 shipping. I just checked the same listing. The same listing is now at $170 with free shipping, so a little less than what I paid a week or so ago. The company I got this from, their name is Lemon Shark, I believe. And I also, since I have a 2008, that's something else you need to be aware of, is some of the information out on the market will say if your car is a 2009 or older, you need a CAN bus adapter to get the steering wheel controls to work. Other information says if it's older than a 2008, you need the CAN bus adapter. So there's conflicting information about whether or not you need this CAN bus harness to get your steering wheel controls to work. Now, if you have a 2007 or older, I believe that the actual CAN bus module in the car needs to be upgraded. So if you have an older Mark 5, you would probably have to replace that item. So I bought the plug-in CAN bus harness, which should allow me to get my radio controls to work. And I'm going to test it with and without the extra harness. So anyway, let's get on with the unboxing. This arrived, obviously wrapped up in this box here. Inside the box, this first harness, this is their, what do they call this? It's a multifunction steering wheel simulator. It's got this little module on it right here to get your steering wheel controls to work. It also eliminates battery drain. If you have an older car and you install one of these radios, it can cause battery drain. So this also prevents the battery drain. This is an extra 20 bucks. I may or may not need it, but I wanted to err on the side of caution and just go ahead and get it. Now, what actually comes with the radio is, well, most of the companies that provide these radios provide this wire harness adapter. So this would plug into the back of the radio. This plugs into your stock wiring harness. These extra wires hanging off of here, this would be a turn-on lead for a backup camera, and this is a composite video output for a backup camera. I don't have a backup camera, but my understanding is that if you have an OEM Volkswagen backup camera, that will not work with this setup unless you get some sort of a converter. Or you can replace your backup camera with an aftermarket backup camera. There's aftermarket ones that are integrated into your lift handle or into your Volkswagen emblem that flip up, and so those are options. I don't have a backup camera, so I can't comment on that, so I won't be using that particular function. Also included as part of the sale is this antenna adapter. When you take your unplug your antenna, this will plug into the harness, and then this will plug into the radio. So they include that as well. Other than that, there's really no instructions included. There's just this foam and then a printed out piece of paper that says, we'll send you a free gift, blah, 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 some extra cell phone mount or something, but no instructions. So let me pull this out of the camera and we'll be back and take a look at the radio. All right, let me pull it out of the box, not out of the camera, and we'll be back. Okay, this particular radio and the foam is fit tight in the box, so you got to kind of wiggle it to get it out. And you can see that this is a unit. This is a brand new unit. This still has the protective film over the screen there. This is a touch screen as well. It only comes with one USB input right here. It's a front mount USB input, and this is the SD card. And while we're at it, we'll just talk about that. You'll notice I've got a SanDisk SD card adapter, and I have a micro 64 gig micro SD card in there, and I will be using that for music, and that just slides in. I think it slides in. There we go. Yeah, like so. It's a little tight. I'm assuming this adapter will work. I haven't tried this, but I'm not going to get it stuck in there right now. We'll deal with that later. This particular one, some of these radios have an aux, like a 2.5 or a 3.5 millimeter jack right here. This one does not have that. The description on AliExpress, the pictures that they showed of this particular unit, did not show a jack. I wouldn't use it anyway, so it wasn't a concern. There's also a website, I believe it's RCD330.com. I'll leave the actual link in the description. There's an actual dedicated website for these radios that talk about all sorts of things, modifying firmware updates. You can buy firmware from somebody on that site or from the site. And they talk about all the different models, all the different features and things like that. A lot more information I can cover in this particular video. So I'll leave that link and you can go there and read up. There is a link on there that actually shows how people have taken the unit apart, and they've taken a female USB cable and cut the end off, not the female end but the other end, and soldered it onto the circuit board so they can have a USB port coming off the back. That doesn't give you two, it just allows you to use either the front or the back. In my installation, which you'll see when I do the installation video, I'm going to be using this jack because my phone will be mounted like real close, and I'll just run a short cable to it. Let's see, what do we got here on the back? There is a sticker that's on here and it's placed over it looks like it's placed over the original sticker. Probably the Lemon Shark, you can see the Lemon Shark sticker, they probably placed this sticker on there. But underneath here is a wiring diagram, and I can't tell what else is underneath there. I might try and peel that off. But they obviously put a sticker over the factory sticker. They probably already also put this 360 Pro on here as well. And it's basically the back of it. And it's not a full-size unit. It's a half-size unit because there's no CD in here. So they don't need all the extra space for the CD mechanism or the changer mechanism, whatever the case may be. Pretty simplistic setup. We've got a volume knob and we have a tuner knob, and then you have your it has built-in Bluetooth. There's no Wi-Fi, but there is built-in Bluetooth. This is the Bluetooth microphone, so you don't have to run an extra microphone. Phone button, app button, setup button, which I'll have to go through once I get it installed. Media allows you to switch between your different media inputs, probably the SD card and the USB, CarPlay, I'm assuming. If you're running CarPlay or Android Auto, you could play music from your phone. You could do that as well. You don't have to use the SD card. And then, of course, the radio. Now, as I understand it, the our AM functions off of 10 megahertz chunks, or we tune from 10 to 20 to 30 or something like that. This radio works off of 9 megahertz jumps. I'm probably not using the right terminology, but so the AM's not really going to work that great. So if you're really in the AM, you definitely might want to think about an upgrade like this, because my understanding is the AM is not going to work correctly, or it's going to be staticky. It's not really designed for the US market, the AM, because these radios were never sold in the US. They were sold for other markets. But anyway, that's the unboxing, and that's the information I have. I will leave the link for this particular radio off of AliExpress, which is the best price I found. I'll leave the link for that, and I'll leave the link to the forum for this. You can also visit vwvortex.com. There's a lot of info about this particular radio on that forum, and that information pertains specifically to Volkswagens, of course. But if you own a Volkswagen, you should be a member of that forum anyway. There's tons of good information on that forum. But that's going to end the unboxing of this RCD330 factory Volkswagen radio with Android Auto and CarPlay. And stay tuned, because I will be doing an installation video of this same radio.